So, welcome everyone. This is week 4 of the Spiral Path of Place storytelling series. I can't believe we're on to week 4 already. How amazing is this? And my name's Eimear, just in case you don't know who I am. And pop your name and location in the chat and let's see, where are you dialing in from in your neck of the woods? It's always wonderful to hear from you and to see you as well. And we are live here on Zoom and we're live on YouTube as well. So I can keep an eye on the comments there too. So where are you? Who are you? I am so curious to see who is here as the numbers pop up, and you can select everyone as well so we can all see, but I can see everyone anyway in the comments. Can't see you in person, but I can see you in the comments. So hello, Regina in Newfoundland, Canada. Lovely to see you here. Hello, Jetty. Have I said that right? Jetty or Jet from Denmark. Welcome. Hi, Amy. Good evening. Hello, Amy and Yvonne from Cheshire. Lovely to be here again. Yeah, I'm just loving the vibe of this Monday night, starting off our week in this way. Hello, Gillian from Glasgow, just over the road. How lovely. Hi, Kathy from Wisconsin. Love your stories. Thank you so much. Hello, Marianne. Lovely to see you again from Bedfordshire. Hello, welcome. Hi, Shirley from Florida. So nice to see you. Hello, Marilyn from Florida. Finally making it back from camping. How was your camping trip? I'm very jealous that you were off camping, and I imagine in the lovely warmth as well. How gorgeous. Hello, Claire from Wales. Lovely to have you here. Lovely to hear your stories. Thank you so much. So yeah, keep popping your names in, and how about we dive in? So nice to hear from you all. So maybe you've brought a wee drink. I've got my warm water here, just to whet the appetite. And of course, it's the 1st of March. So what another wonderful way to welcome in the 1st of March. And there was the most gorgeous sunset here. I don't know if it was like that over in Glasgow as well, but here in Falkirk, the sky went from pink to that deep, deep pink color tonight. And it started off, it was just like a blanket of pink across the sky. And then it kind of just turned into these gorgeous streaks as it got redder and redder and then blended into the dark sky. So it was really just gorgeous, a gorgeous way to start the month. Hello, Leslie Ann, welcome. So yes, settle in everyone that's here live, and same to those watching the recording as well. So what do we have? What do we have in the storytelling repertoire from tonight? So yeah, it's been a busy week, writing away. And our first tale for you tonight is called A Twist in the Tale. So let's get this set up. Twist in the tale. I knew something felt different during his labour, but just didn't know quite what. After Aisling's powerful birth, that was daughter number 2, I figured 3rd time round it would all be grand, though the midwives told me 3rd time can bring surprises, which I actually didn't find too helpful at the time. So it was only when I was fully dilated, it turned out he was upside down, head up, bum down. His birth would have a wee twist in the tail in the end. And my cousin did actually say afterwards that he didn't know his ass from his head. So I thought that was a bit rude to put in the writing. But so upon further examination, they said they could feel his foot, which seemed to want to be birthed into the world first. They said I could still have a natural birth, but all of me, every single part of me, said no way. The idea of giving birth to baby foot first, it really didn't appeal. I had images of him emerging in weird and wonderful contorted shapes. So I opted for the C-section, and once sufficiently drugged up, bottom half numbed, top half, namely my mouth, sprang into action with the speed of fluent verbosity that I'm sure the surgical ward had never experienced before. I just couldn't stop myself. My husband was dressed in matching medical gowns. He reminded me the other day how I kept telling jokes and making the surgical team laugh, but I really have no memory of any of that. Who knows what I said? So the midwife sat by my side and held my hand throughout it all, listening intently to me. And I do remember that she hadn't eaten that day and her shift had been over a long time ago. And still, she stayed, stroking my hand as the shivery side effects of the drugs kicked in for the duration of the emergency procedure. You know, those shivers, the after effects. So perhaps our son didn't really want to be born in that moment, wanting instead to renege on the sole contract that he had signed. An image of him turning away from my cervix as it continued to open up and instead scrambled back into the safety of my womb. That place of safety that he had known for 9 months as his body formed around his beating heart and organs. Returning to darkness into my womby waters rather than being born into this world again. Or perhaps he just wanted to create his own unique birth story, sprinkled with a bit or a lot of drama in order to tell his version for generations to come. Who knows? So I tell my son now that he was born ready to kick the football, right foot stretched out, first on the ready. Then he received a special and surprising entrance into the world from my belly. He really likes that version of the story. Stories are powerful. The stories we tell ourselves and the stories we share with others. The stories we birth and live by. Almost 10 years on, as I hold his hand, he still likes to hear us tell him the story of his grand arrival into this world. And so the spiral path continues through the magic of story. And that is a twist in the tale. Quite a dramatic one in the end. So yes, welcome to those of you that have arrived while I was reading that. You can pop your name and location in the chat if you wish. It would be lovely. And yeah, so that was my son's birth. Kind of like expect the unexpected, really, isn't it? Hi, Sharon. Lovely to see you laughing. Welcome. Okay. Second in the repertoire of 5 today. And this one is called The Priest's House. And yeah, this one wanted to be written. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to share it, but I had to. We can't argue with our soul's writing, can we? So, the priest's house. I enter the room first. He follows and sits down directly opposite me on the hard brown single chair, feet flat on the ground. His white rectangular collar stark against his black clothes. My eyes are drawn to that collar time and time again. It's so white beside the black and angular. The work he must have put in over the years to be qualified to wear this collar. Kind brown eyes looking over to me, searchingly, through his black-rimmed glasses. I'm in the reception room of the priest's house, where they live beside the church. I'm sitting on the soft, dark blue sofa. I sit forward rather than slouching back, and my feet are flat on the floor. I'm fiddling with my fingers, wondering how this conversation is going to go. A framed picture of Mary's soft silhouette hangs on the wall behind me, and to my right in a carving is the Last Supper, Jesus and his apostles. Is it a bronze carving? It looks cold and brown. Was he scared, Jesus, eating his Last Supper? What was he feeling? The vertical blinds are closed over the big window in this old house, shutting out the daylight. There's an old brown table between us. The room is so sparse. I can hear the clock ticking. He begins to talk, to ask questions of me and my predicament. I feel my teeth biting the side of my lip, feeling like a wayward child. I'm fiddling with my fingers again. And then I hear myself speak. It's my voice, but it feels like it's coming from a different place inside me, a deeper place, from deep within me. Words are flowing out of my mouth softly, strongly. They're my words, but they feel like her words. It's like an in-the-body kind of experience. I'm speaking my truth to the Father, and my words are flowing freely. Is this really happening? He tells me I must commit to the rights of the church for my family and children by being an example, by taking my responsibilities seriously, that I have to put the work in too. And I understand all of this. It is all true. I know I'm a role model for my children. And then she speaks again, saying that I cannot commit to this. I just can't pretend any longer to be something or someone that I'm not. Because my life and my beliefs, they've changed, and they're continuing to change as I walk the spiral path home to my unique place of innate power that is rooted in the gospel of my own truth. I can feel her quiet strength within me, so strong and so sure, so empowering. I don't need to hide and pretend any longer. I can speak my truth when I'm ready, when I'm called to, and then it's not scary. Then it flows, generally. She will always support me. Her words continue to flow from me, unplugged, undammed, bursting forth, as I talk of the feminine and tell him that this is the path I'm exploring. I point to Mary on the wall, asking where is the feminine in all of this? I feel like we've abandoned her. Our discussion comes to an end, and as I walk out the door of that old house and through the big black iron gate, a queasy feeling rises in my stomach. There is no jubilance, there is no joy, just queasiness. It might have seemed like a normal conversation, yet for me it wasn't. It's another step, a quantum leap in my journey that I'm being guided on, just like that. Religion is a big part of my lineage across many of the generations. It's been a source of solace, of ritual, of comfort for many of my ancestors, as a way of dealing with heartbreak, with upset, with death, with misfortune, with freedom and Irish identity. Their chosen form of spirituality. And it was just the way it was for me growing up and for my lineage. Yet, not anymore for me. Beliefs outgrown, I'm stepping on to a different part of the spiral, and I don't have to continue along these lines. I'm exploring new choices, new alignments, new ways that I feel more connected to. There's a great freedom in that, mixed with pain, of course. I'm sure the ancestors won't mind, and maybe they're applauding me on my healing journey from the other side. Who knows? And that was the priest's house. Thank you for listening. And that was day 12 of the 21-day series. Hello, welcome Colleen from Seattle. Lovely to have you here. I remember my time in Seattle. We stayed a couple of nights there at the end of our round the world trip. Lovely coffee, I seem to remember. Hi Julia and everyone, so wonderful to be here. I'm getting to work from home today, so thankful. Oh, that's lovely. Hello Jaguar from Portland, Oregon. Love your name. Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Julia. Leslie Ann. The connection kept breaking up. Oh, on this lovely tale. Oh, I wonder, was it like that for anyone else? Hopefully not. Well, I'll send the replay out pretty much straight after this, so hopefully you can re-listen. Hi, Shirley. How profound and simple, but profound, yeah. Oh, Colleen resonates deeply. May you remain true to yourself. Yeah, absolutely. This is the journey, isn't it? It takes courage and sometimes the simple, pure and simple steps. Kathy, that was amazing. Thank you. Hi, Gillian. That was really powerful. I had a similar conversation with a minister. Wow, so brave. Yeah. You're so welcome. Okay, let's dive into day 13. 13. And this one is called Paradoxical Peace. Going with the alliteration here. So this is another interesting one. Paradoxical Peace. A few months after my father died, I was in a fatal car crash. I had travelled to Bavaria in Germany for a second summer in a row to work in Gasthof Sonnenheim, the guest house where the sun always shines. It was really warm actually that summer. In the most beautiful rural and tranquil location at the foot of the massive Alps. It was really stunning location. I don't know how long that moment was after I lost consciousness. I remember the car headlights shining brightly, framing the tree on the other side of the windy country road, its strong brown trunk standing solidly rooted to the spot, its large branches dressed in beautiful green summer leaves. A divine masculine energy emanating from it, as I think about it now. It's like time stood still in that moment as the beam of light urgently changed its course and its final destination. As if a great big hand had reached down from the heavens and rotated the car 180 degrees, while my ancestors and guides took a great big inhale as they witnessed the unfolding events. And for me, as I retell the story, there's this gap every time, and it's like a blackness, a vortex of mysterious silence that remains, where no sound or light or sensory information exists. It's a black no-thingness, a paradoxical peace within the banks of my memory. I imagine I received some kind of divine help when I managed to unclip my seatbelt, open the car door, and walk my way through the meadow grass to the road, none of which I remember as consciousness slowly returned with a blurred confusion. I imagine my father was involved somehow, knowing it wasn't my time yet to go. So I do count my blessings so much, feeling very lucky to have danced with death and survived that night. Over the years, I've been consciously releasing the guilt, the sadness that I've unknowingly been holding onto for my two friends who died with such a tragic and sudden finality that night. And for myself too. Because I can now picture them, and they were called Mickey and Hops, with smiling, happy, gentle faces of forgiveness. And it brings with it a peace, healing my tender heart and my womb where the seatbelt strap held me, and soothing my neck and my throat area where the headrest supported me. Piecing parts of the spiral whole again through the paradox of life and the mystery of life that it is. So that was Paradoxical Peace. Thank you for listening. Again, I think I say this each week, but it's so interesting writing these and then speaking them to all of you, knowing that you're here live in circle. It just brings with it an added depth and added power. You're so welcome, Sharon. Yes, speaking to them. Thank you for sharing such strong personal stories. Yeah, very moving. Yeah, thank you. And I've shared in a blog maybe a couple of years ago, I went back to Gasthof Sonnenheim. A few years ago, my sister was working in Austria, and it was actually within cycling distance. We could cycle there, and it just felt incredibly healing to go back there and to walk the land in that area again. So I did write a blog about that at the time as well. So I can share that actually. This is like going to that place before, that mysterious place. Yeah, thank you, Leslie Ann. Incredible, and thankfully survived. Yeah. And incredibly, it was the choice of where we sat in the car that night. Julia, there's such power, isn't there, in speaking out loud our stories and journeys, and how each story touches each of us in our own way. Magic, yeah. And I'm really deepening into that, knowing of that, how they do touch us in our ways. It just amazes me time and time again, yeah. Regina, so powerful. Speaking them out loud brings them alive, yeah. And sometimes before I'm coming on, I look at the stories and go, oh no, I have to read that. Okay, we can do this. We can all do this together. Julia, angels watching over you, yeah. Feels like that, yeah. Scary as what is meant to be, yeah, despite losing two friends. Really is, yeah. So here we are, ready for the next one in this spiral, this paradox of a life. So this one is a happier one, more, well, I guess that's happy in a way, the previous one, but this one is about our campervan. So day 14, begged to be written about our campervan. I loved our campervan. We bought her on the 22nd of August, 1999, off Dirk, a German backpacker who had come to the end of his 11 months of driving around Australia. He had taken so much care of her, put in a reconditioned engine to bring her born in 1982 self back to life. Our campervan was a converted high-ace van with windows at the back, neatly framed with tiny thin little curtains, a sturdy piece of chipboard upon which our foam mattress bed lay, and under which all our backpacker belongings folded neatly away in plastic tubs on wheels. We were very tidy. Included in our purchase were all of Dirk's camping gear and cooking utensils. All backpackers, all-inclusive, bargain, dream. We were delighted. We'd arrived in Cairns, having flown from Sydney that morning, and purchased her that evening. We didn't hang around for long back then. Our campervan was white. I funked her up with blue and green stripes along her sides and spray painted her hubcaps, wheels dark green. I must have had loads of time on my hands back in those days. And we bought fluffy synthetic black and white cow pattern seat covers with the steering wheel cover to match. So this gorgeous fluffy cow steering wheel. And the hot sun would no longer burn our bottoms or hands when we sat inside. We played our tapes in the van's inbuilt cassette tape recorder and checked her oil levels daily, as Dirk had shown us how to do. Our first trip with our new purchase was to head north, stopping at Trinity Beach for the night, and then heading up to Port Douglas and then on to Daintree, and driving as far north as we could in our campervan to Cape Tribulation, taking in the mountainous Great Dividing Range as we drove. And the reason I know these details is because I kept a diary and wrote in it studiously every day that we were traveling, that we were on the move in that year. And in my diary entry on the 25th of August, 1999, I write, "We're here now, in Cape Tribulation, in the van, by the sea. There's a full moon with only the sounds of the waves, the insects, the birds. It's paradise. This is the life." And it really was the life, when I think back now. And it says everything really about that year that left such an indelible mark of magic, freedom, and joy on me and us. I travelled with my now husband. And we often recount our stories of adventure or misadventure to our kids. And we in turn sold our campervan to an English couple newly arrived in Sydney many, many months later, so that we could travel onwards to New Zealand for the next stage of our round the world trip. So I'm here now, flicking through my journal that year, soaking up the words, handwritten in blue pen in my younger self, by my younger self. Tasting the movement, the momentum of the adventures, the freedom, where every single day brought new experiences. So these days I travel the spiral path at a different pace from back then and to different places. But our campervan, it holds such a very special place in the spirals of my heart for me. It was such a lovely, special campervan. So that was our campervan. I wonder where our campervan is now, 1982. Would it still be going all these years later? Oh, thanks, Shirley. You have a lovely voice, perfect for storytelling. Thank you. Sharon, what was her name? I did wonder that. I can't remember if we called her a name, but it maybe was like something like Bertha or something. I do have a photo. I've got the photo here. I can share my screen and show you. Here it is. There is our campervan. Can you see that there? There it is. And I'm sure that's the Scottish flag on there and the Australian flag. I don't see the Irish flag anywhere, but that's me. Just hanging out on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere on our journey. So I've actually got that photo that's printed out and it's in a picture frame in our bedroom. It is so much fun. just the freedom of, touring in a camper van. Love it. So, final story. And now the end is near. Oh, it was happy days, Julian. Yeah. Wonderful days. So glad we did it then when we could. Final story. And usually the final story is fresh off the printing machine. So I wrote this earlier. And this is day 15 and it's called Granny Hannah's Singer Sewing Machine. So it was going to be called Granny Hannah's Holy Water, just because it felt like it rhymed a bit more. But I changed it, as I tend to do at the end. So, Leslie Ann, yes, brought you great joy and new experiences. It absolutely did. Yeah. Okay, final one. Brace yourselves. Granny Hannah's Singer Sewing Machine. My Granny Hannah had a Singer sewing machine. It had a cast iron frame with a giant pedal, operated with a treadle system. You tread on the pedal with your foot, which in turn powered the sewing machine. The sewing machine sang to the rhythm of your foot, so to speak. I don't remember much about Granny Hannah. She had a cat, and I know I liked her cat. And she birthed 5 children, including my father, where they lived in their house outside Timoleague, West Cork, in Ireland. Maybe some of you might know it. And the year 1900 is inscribed into the external chimney on their wall. So if you stand looking at the house, you can see the 1900. It's still there, still standing. And to my child's mind, she was a stern lady, an ancient to me. Snow white hair, as far as I can remember. But she passed on when I was, I think, 4 or 5. I was quite young. So a few years ago, I experienced a healing session with my psychic friend Maria, Luna Beam Maria, I call her. Granny Hannah paid a visit in spirit with her Singer sewing machine, salt, and holy water. She sprinkled me with holy water as I lay severed from my soul. With threaded needle on the ready, she sewed me back to wholeness. She covered me in sacred salts to clear the soot and the dust of generations past, enticing them out from the darkness, out from the silence, releasing them back to source on the spiral of life and the cosmos. Sing your soul song to the world, she said, as she wove me whole again. Walking this spiral path has taken me to surprising places, where ancestral voices connect through the timelines with the very same strands of yarn, interwoven, connected through invisible cords. And we're reconnecting this ancient wisdom for these modern times within the web of life. So, dear listeners, will you join me in sewing ourselves whole again as we tread carefully along the spiral paths of our individual and collective lives? There's a question for you. And I didn't have a picture of her Singer sewing machine, sadly. But maybe one of my cousins or my aunts might. I'm sure there's a picture somewhere. So that is it. We have come to the end so quickly of our storytelling for this week. Week 4, 5 stories on this wonderful spring evening that is the 1st of March. So, yeah. Thank you, Shirley. The last story was truly a shamanic healing tale. Yeah. Really, really was. And that was maybe a year, 2 years ago maybe. So it was really amazing. And at the time, my father turned up in spirit as well through my friend Maria, through her healing. So it was amazing. And it's just wonderful to be able to relate these back to you as well in the form of stories. Thank you, Julia. How beautiful. Granny Hannah and the Singer Sewing Machine. Yeah, very shamanic. Thanks, Sharon. Such a fine storyteller. Thank you. Lovely healing story. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yeah. And yeah, at the end of this, I assume you're all on my mailing list, so I can send out all the 21 days of writing if you wish in typed out form so that you can go back to them. But they're always on YouTube as well. Thank you, Amy. Such a joy to listen to your stories. Thanks so much. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, wonderful stories. Oh, such a joy. And go forth, and because some people are emailing me back with their stories so that are inspired by the topic of mine. So go forth and continue on this gift of writing yours in whatever form, writing in whatever creative forms, of course. Thank you, Gillian. Such a fantastic personal set of stories. Yeah, really enjoying hearing me tell them. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely feels healing writing them as well. Thank you, Julia. Beautiful gifts, you and your stories. Oh, you're so welcome. And yeah, if anyone wants me to write about any particular topics, just continue to let me know. You can pop it in the chat or you can send me an email. And thank you for being here, for taking the time for this on a Monday, whatever time of day it is in your part of the world, morning, afternoon, evening. And we'll see you again. Same time, same place, next week. And have a wonderful week. Oh, Colleen, you just became a granny. That's so gorgeous. Let the healing continue. That must be so wonderful. Regina, thank you. So magical when you gift us them vocally. Oh, you're so welcome. I can hear your ancestors speaking through you. That's gorgeous. Yeah, it really, really feels like that. And sometimes I can feel like the tingles around me as well. Gorgeous. Well, thank you. Oh, happy birthday, Leslie Ann. What a lovely way to spend your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Well, have a wonderful day. Yeah, older and wiser, as they say. Gorgeous. Well, thank you for being here live on Zoom, and thank you for being here